With a former WWE star teasing a move to AEW and more, this is Wrestling Hub. My name is John, and you're watching the Wrestling Report for December 16th. Before we get into the rest of the video, make sure you subscribe to Wrestling Hub and turn on all notifications to stay up to date with everything in the world of pro wrestling. Also, don't forget to follow us on Instagram at Wrestling Hub Official, and also follow us on Twitter at Wrestling_Hub. On his podcast, Ric Flair was asked why nobody has copied his trademark turnbuckle flip, as the Nature Boy noted that Vince McMahon doesn't want Charlotte to copy his moves. While some of the wrestlers can do my moves, I don't think Vince liked it when Ashley does it, because it reminds him of me. I have no idea who has stolen my moves. It's funny. You can learn every day, every match you were in, if it's somebody you're watching, which I think is very important if you're young in the business or even if you're in the same card as someone that's good. But I don't see a lot of guys copying my stuff. Last week on SmackDown, Charlotte was disqualified during her match against Toni Storm, as it'll be interesting to see where this feud goes from here. Also on his podcast, Ric Flair was asked who he believed would be a part of a modern Four Horsemen stable in WWE, as he replied, "I've heard that question before and it changes every day. It would be Roman Reigns, Randy Orton, AJ Styles, and Dolph Ziggler. That would be a rough crew to handle both in the ring and socially." While his WWE contract was set to expire at the end of January, Kevin Owens reportedly signed a new deal with the company. Given all the releases that have taken place, it may come as a surprise to know that Owens does not have a no-cut clause in his contract. As Dave Meltzer gave an update on his new deal, he signed a 3-year deal with WWE. Actually, I believe it was a couple of weeks ago when this happened. I'm sure there'll be more tomorrow on it, but it's a very good money deal. I think the feeling is that it was a better deal than he could get in AEW. It's in the $2 to $3 million, in that range. He might be on the road every other week doing house shows, maybe every other week doing house shows, and then just doing the Monday. Right now he's doing a lot of house shows, but even now it's like 2, so it's 3 days a week, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. When he's working on the house shows, a lot of the weekends there aren't house shows. So the schedule brutality from the past is pretty much gone. You know, the money is good. He did not get a no cut. He didn't, that's the other thing that I heard. 3 years from now, 3 years isn't that long. And the Day 1 pay-per-view, Owens will be part of a fatal 4-way match for the WWE title against the champion Big E, Seth Rollins, and Bobby Lashley. On AEW Dynamite, the war of words between MJF and CM Punk continued as the Salt of the Earth grabbed a microphone to say this to Punk. "I didn't realize that having an undefeated streak and a string of underwhelming matches against underwhelming opponents made you championship material. I thought that just made you the new Ryback." With Punk previously accusing Ryback of being unsafe in the ring, this got a huge reaction from the live crowd as well as fans online. This prompted Ryback to issue a response, telling MJF, "Thanks to the shout out. Now you have your big chance of being an enhancement talent working with an underwhelming opponent." On the Wrestling Perspective podcast, AEW President Tony Khan came on to talk about ratings for Dynamite, as last week the show drew 872,000 viewers. This was the third lowest rating for the show since fans returned. Speaking on the issue of declining ratings, Khan noted that hardcore fans are the only ones watching wrestling. "I understand that there used to be a broader base of people watching wrestling, and now it's really like all of television hardcore fans. It makes what the National Football League does that more impressive, that the audience for the NFL has grown while the audience for TV is shrunk and shrunk and shrunk. The TV audience goes down 9% a year. It's gone down 9% last year, 9% the year before, and it's down 18% the last 2 years. The wrestling ratings are very steady compared to everything else, and the NFL is up. The audience for TV has changed. All things have become more hardcore audience-based, and that is a part of it. It's also like sports. Sports alone is very tribalistic, and the fans of these sports are very quick to say what they're a fan of and not a fan of. There's a lot of people that like both and just aren't making a lot of noise, and the people who are making a lot of noise boys are the people that feel strongly one way or the other whether they like AEW or they like our competition. It's not altogether dissimilar to what's happening in the world of pro sports. I think overall it's a good thing that there are all these fans dedicated to the show, but in the Monday Night Wars, there were people online that felt one way or the other, and frankly, as the thing went on and on, more of them moved towards the WWF. They did really well, and in the 1998-99, that was the show that was giving the people what they wanted to see in the 90s. In terms of tribalism, I think it's something that's been around for a long time and a big part of sports. With FTR involved in a feud with the Lucha Bros and looking to set up a match between the Briscoes, the AAA Tag Champions seemed to have their hands full. When they arrived in AEW, many anticipated their feud and match with the Young Bucks. The rivalry was short-lived as Dax Harwood thinks it ended too abruptly. We did it in front of 1,000 fans, and when the match was over, I cannot explain to you the emotions that went through. Man, we did it. We had 1,000 fans there and I could feel their emotions because finally, their heroes had won the championships from us. I think they thought we saw who the greatest tag team of all time was, and maybe they thought we saw the greatest tag team match of all time. We thought there were going to be multiple matches as well. Then there was a train that completely stopped all that. Cash Wheeler would note that the two teams are destined for a drawn-out feud. No matter how much we wanted the immediate rematch because we don't like losing, especially to those guys, it's inevitable, it's going to happen. We've waited a long time to have that first match. We know how to be patient when it comes to this, and we know that when you boil it all down and strip it down to who is the better team, they know that we are, and they hate that, and they are going to avoid that at all costs, and they don't want to be seen even remotely in the same area as us because it's going to expose them. It is going to be a rock and roll and Midnight Express thing. We're going to have some rematches and probably have rematches for the next couple of decades. Given the match between the Bucks and FTR took place in May of last year, fans should be ready to see them go at it again. Hangman Page has finally found his way to the AEW World title and recently defended the belt against Bryan Danielson for the Winter is Coming special in a match that went to a time limit draw. One thing fans have noticed with Page's entrance are the informational graphics displayed. These have been pretty funny, but Page is apparently not a fan, as he told Renee Paquette that he has spies in the back to catch those making these lines. I guess someone at the graphics truck who does all those. They clown on me all the time. I'm so pissed off about it. I've tried to get snitches from the truck. I've planted spies in the truck. I'm not sure that's in the truck and not like back in the studio in Nashville or something like that. I can't figure out who it is, and I'm fed up about it. Yeah, I don't know. At this point, I don't know what to do about it. I'm the champion and I can't get it fixed. So I guess they're just probably going to keep clowning on me for the foreseeable future, but if I stop having lower thirds altogether or they start being nice to me or normal, then you'll know that I got them. Liv Morgan has been making her presence felt recently with her Raw Women's title program with the champion Becky Lynch. Speaking about her rise to prominence, Natalya noted that she is happy to see Liv getting this opportunity. We hear a lot about fresh, shiny, new, and to me, there are a lot of people that have deserved a chance for a long time. Liv Morgan has been in WWE for over 6 years, and she isn't someone that isn't brand spanking new onto the scene. She's a woman that has been there for a long time and fighting for an opportunity and a chance. If you get an opportunity, you'd be an idiot to turn it down, but it's really nice when you see other women get an opportunity and other women get a chance to rise to the occasion and do something amazing. With his unexpected release from WWE, Jeff Hardy has announced that he is on tour to perform some original music. On his podcast, Jim Ross said he would love to see Jeff in AEW. I hope someday Hardy is wrestling for AEW. It is a no-brainer. Can you imagine the Young Bucks and the Hardy Boys and the Lucha Bros, the Hardys and FTR, the Battle of North Carolina? I'm all for this. And that's a year's worth of matches right there. Easy. With the contracts for Kyle O'Reilly and Johnny Gargano expiring recently, many are wondering where they will end up. While WWE reportedly expects one of these two to stay with the company, Kyle O'Reilly dropped an AEW tease on Twitter. With AEW posting a segment featuring Adam Cole, the Bucks, and Bobby Fish with a present, O'Reilly would reply asking what's in the box. MJF has had his bodyguard Wardlow by his side for the longest time in AEW, yet it seems this partnership could be meeting an end. Wardlow spoke on Busted Open Radio about his future, saying, "As we end this year, you have been seeing me a little more and I think we are going to continue seeing more of me. And that's why I say 22, I think we have a lot more to come. MJF and I, we strictly have a business relationship. And that's all it's ever been, and that's all it will ever be. However, that contract isn't forever. The way he treats people, we will see what the future holds with that." With MJF mistreating Wardlow on most episodes of Dynamite, fans will be in for an implosion when this alliance comes down. With Ring of Honor closing up shop, many wrestling stars are now free agents, and according to BodySlam.net, AEW's picked up a former ROH standout. I spoke with multiple sources and have confirmed that Brody King is signed with All Elite Wrestling. When I asked about King's signing, one source told me that he was told on Thanksgiving weekend it was a done deal, and that he believed the signing happened almost immediately following the ROH news. With Malachi Black teasing a new member of his faction, many have already assumed it was Brody King, given they reunited at a PWG show and became tag champions. On Insight with Chris Van Vliet, Dirty Dango, formerly known as Fandango in WWE, revealed that plans had to be cancelled in the company for him to win a championship. They were going to put the IC title on me and I got concussed working with Great Khali. I didn't tell them I was concussed. It was like a week or two before. I worked Khali a couple weeks out from a pay-per-view, and we worked like a week before the pay-per-view. If you get concussed and you go out there and get hit again, it's a lot easier to get concussed. If you don't give the swelling enough time to go down, it's really easy to get concussed again. I was concussed and I kept performing and didn't tell anybody. I think I was wrestling Zack Ryder in Long Island, and I took a shoulder tackle and I was completely out. We got through the rest of the match, got to the back, and I thought I just wrestled Khali because your brain just goes back to where you originally got messed up. Then I just said it. I thought I worked Khali. I got knocked out. I stooged myself off. To the company's protocol, I was completely wrong. You should definitely tell him when you're hurt because they don't want any athlete to get seriously injured. I grew up in the wrestling business. If someone is going to put the IC title on you, you don't take yourself out of the game. I didn't want to stooge myself off. It was a tough spot. They took me off TV for a couple of weeks. I think Curtis Axel won the title. It derailed me. I was partying a lot at that time too. I kind of let up. I was in developmental for so long, and in my mind I got to the finish line and I had made it. You don't just make it. You have to keep grinding after you get there even harder. I take full accountability for that. I kind of got there. I thought I was in. I was Vince's little pet and I let up. That's on me. And this was your Pro Wrestling News Update. I hope you're all having a great day. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later.